one or a purple one or any other color? Why you got a rib on Andre for? Huh?
I think Andre has a more eclectic wardrobe than I do. He's got way more shirts than I do. Andre never repeats his shirts.
We do see the same 3 Tool shirts from Rob.
From 1996.
Once in a while, there's a Red Hot Chili Peppers mixed in there.
A Nirvana t-shirt.
The respect to Rob is that he's still fitting in the clothes from that time period. So bravo, Rob. The fact that you still fit in your clothes from that time period. So whenever you bought that Tool shirt, it either you bought it way too big or you still fit in it like a glove.
Well, listen, they've just announced some new tours for the US and in Europe. And when they come back to Canada, all 4 of us, we're going. And you guys are going to experience what a right proper concert is. None of this Ariana Grande bullshit. None of this other stuff that you guys...
Ariana Grande puts on a hell of a show, probably.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, Tool will blow it out of the water.
Is Shawn Mendes going to open up for Tool? Is that an option?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Who opens up for Tool nowadays, though? There is no opening act?
I feel like Tool's a band that opens up for Ariana Grande at this standpoint. Like that's where they are.
Ooh, I don't know. If you
Look at Rob's eyes. What? That was fighting words.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of angry older Caucasian people coming at you, Stu.
I've been there, done that. Welcome everyone to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. I'm your host Dupe. With me, as always, are the owners and proprietors of Heroes World. That be John and Andre. Please say hello to the world.
Hello world.
Hello world.
And our resident Prince of Mischief from a variant from a long galaxy far, far away, a time long ago, Mr. Rob Gadet.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for episode 8 of 9 of What If Marvel. What If Ultron won? So here we go. I teased everyone, if you watched the last episode with the Howard the Duck episode, if you can replay that, everyone's face just go, are you serious? And
you know what? I completely forgot about that you had done that.
I really dug into it. I'm like, it's a Howard the Duck episode. I was like, and I was happy because no one called me on. They're like, everyone's like, really? I'm like, yep. And they're like, because I was going to show you a picture.
Shows how much we followed it and how disappointed we were in the last episode. That we were like, okay, it can be whatever now. Marvel has created that. Yeah, it was that type of leeway.
Yeah, there was
Howard the Duck right before episode 9 would have fit in with what we were expecting.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a character picture of him on Twitter. So if anyone's gonna ask, I was gonna show like, look, it's a Twitter picture of him. I know what if, and I was glad no one looked behind my thinly veiled curtain. Do not look behind the curtain to see what's happening right here. So I'm glad that you all didn't really fall
didn't care enough to
clearly everyone just forgot it, so because I got no messages later going, you lied to me, Stu. I think everyone was just happy that there was no Howard the Duck.
I realized it during the news when one of our fans, Michelle, tuned in, and I was like, yeah, wait, wasn't there a Howard the Duck episode 4? And there wasn't. So
well, guys, I got news for you in episode 9, but wait to the end.
Episode 9, the Howard the
Duck. I got a sneak peek in episode 9. So I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you who the guest character is and what's gonna happen. So it's a new bit we have. All right, John. What if Ultron won? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So this episode, I like it because you can actually pinpoint exactly where the what if was supposed to take place. So this is basically what if Ultron got the vision body that he was planning to take in Age of Ultron. Now the downside is you have to go back and watch Age of Ultron, which not a lot of us want to do. But I thought it was a fun episode. It's always fun. I don't know how many of these what if episodes are going to take place in a post-apocalyptic world, but it seems to work because people like that shit. So it worked. And Ultron makes for a really cool villain. I thought he was more comic booky, I guess, in this version. I loved seeing the Watcher get into the mix. I thought that was hilarious when he was like, it's almost like he's on TikTok swiping through these realities like a little like voyeur, like let me check out this one. All right, next one, and then he sees the Ultron one, and Ultron's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, swipe, and then he gets like brained through the wall. So that was great. He got to throw some fisticuffs too. I really loved that he got in a Watcher headbutt. So If anyone's gonna have a cool cool move, I think you should definitely give the Watcher the headbutt. Other than that, I did like I like Hawkeye and Black Widow together. So I don't know if that's going to become a thing or not. And then the Artem Zola, I actually don't really normally care about this character. I thought he was pretty cool in it. So overall, I was pretty happy with the episode, and I'm happy that they're like tying this all in. So now, what if is good because you don't have to follow continuity, but it's also not be good because there's nothing attaching anything. There's no investment. That's why Marvel has launched the series repeated times, and it kind of like does well at first, and then people will taper off after. So linking it together now, maybe it doesn't keep the same spirit, but I think it works in this particular context. So yeah, happy with the episode.
John, were you disappointed when they didn't talk about Budapest? Where they just mentioned that on
I don't care about this. I think they mentioned it in Black Widow.
They tried to. No one cared.
It was their little banter back and forth, which I didn't really care for. I liked them being on a mission together, doing things. So I definitely would like to see more of that, or if they a Hawkeye and Black Widow comic would make more sense. But yeah.
Okay. Andre, what are your thoughts? Because the bar was the lowest it's ever been. So what are your thoughts on this?
Was it the lowest?
Last week was the lowest.
So.
I don't think Andre could go even lower than it was that last week's bar was like a 1 or I think it was a 1 or a 2. It was really
I'm pretty sure he gave it a 1.
So there's no like
it was a 1.
Yeah, he was a contortionist doing the limbo at the lowest setting.
The lowest one, yeah.
Yes. Just like in Futurama, where you have to limbo your way.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to do much this episode, Andre, for you to give it higher than 1.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but
okay.
Was it more entertaining than the previous 1 or 2 episodes? Sure. But it still felt lazy and unimaginative to me. I guess because it is episode 8 and they're trying to wrap it up for episode 9 and tie the things in, but it would have been like, okay, Ultron wins, or what if, and I'm like, and the last 2 people on Earth to put up a fight are Hawkeye and Black Widow.
They were in a jet. That was that.
But I'm just like seriously.
I did question that.
Those are the last 2 heroes on Earth, or the last 2 people. I'm like, get at and Hawkeye got his arm ripped off and then plugged in and then just plugged it back in. I'm like, get that, again. Anyways, that's what they wanted to choose. That's cool. I guess I got to give them credit for at least trying to link the stories in and stuff. And when they went to the Kremlin to go and find the information and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, a couple of points for that. But again, to me, the Ultron motivation and how he gets to it's just more derivative of what we've had before. And I will say it again, like the Marvel versus Capcom game had a better story of combining, the Infinity Gems with Ultron. Like, are you really telling me that Thanos shows up and gets cut in half by the Mind Gem? The Mind Gem. How does that happen?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Did he not have the Time Gem?
Yeah. Like again, Thanos come like what the F just happened? Again, that's got to be, you guys. What does Andre say? Lazy writing. That was the laziest of writing. And hey, how's the Thanos gonna get killed by? How's Ultron gonna beat Thanos? Oh, let's just have the Mind Gem cut him in half. Done. We're all on board. Let's go. Right. So
sucks for Thanos fans.
Well, it definitely would have made for an interesting end to Infinity War, because then there'd be no point for Endgame.
Well, couldn't Vision technically have done that?
Yeah.
Right.
Apparently.
So
apparently.
it was kind of silly. John mentioned the Watcher. That was kind of cool to see the Watcher do stuff. I did like when they were fighting and going through the different realities.
He was beating the realities out of them.
Yeah, just that was a cool effect. But
how about Iron Man dying yet again, Andre? Did you not take pleasure in watching Iron Man die yet again?
I would like them to get more vicious each time, though. That would have been better.
Andre wants more graphic.
Yeah, more graphic. But I guess what they're going for with this whole thing, they always talk about how many different countless versions there are, and there's an infinite amount of them, right? It just got me thinking. I'm like, if there's an infinite amount, there's got to be another situation where another all-powerful being would have found the Watcher. And what if that one was a force for good? So to me, that would have been a better, shall we say, grand finale. Like, oh, hey, here's an evil Ultron, and oh, here, like, this other person grabbed all of them, instead of, oh, let me go back.
Here's
and
the
get
White
all
Vision.
these 6
But to be fair,
characters that
Andre,
we've already got. So he's gonna go and he gets Doctor Strange. Obviously, he's gonna go get Agent Carter, and then who else?
I can think of all the times where
Killmonger.
nothing
I'm like,
bad
of all
happens,
the heroes
Andre.
that are left, these are the
And
best.
I gotta bring all my cool friends together. We're gonna fight something. You don't get a superhero team if you're not gonna have to do anything. It's like, the JLA doesn't get together just to have ice cream. They get together to fight bad guys. So
Yeah, but they're also, the JLA is also like the best. Like he could have gone. The Watcher could have gone to more worlds to get somebody better than, like, I guess the team is going to be Killmonger and the Sharon, Captain Carter, and Doctor Strange and stuff like that. So I guess what I'm saying, it's a long-winded setup. The payoff better be good. Like, literally, if this last episode 9 doesn't do something super climactic, then I don't know. And
already,
again,
Andre,
and also
disappointment, because nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, probably not.
Now they're like, oh, we saved the day. Cool, done. Like, what? Like that's it. We'll send it back to your home universe. That's it.
My last point will be, in some of the instances, Ultron just eradicated the planets, right? Like why did he need to even?
Captain Marvel got
he's got
destroyed.
all of the reality gems. He could have just snuffed out existence, period. He doesn't have to go from planet to planet in his little spaceship, right? And then why, if he did that, if Earth was the first planet he took, like, why are there even 2 people left on Earth? You know, like so anyways, I know they want to tell the story, and that's how they chose to tell it. But like, you see him literally he blew up a star that blew up the whole galaxy. I'm like, dude, yeah, start thinking bigger. So maybe because he's a robot, he can't think to use all the gems at once or whatever, but
he does the
inspiration. That's the rule, Andre. When you have all of them, you can only do one at a time.
Yeah.
It's Skynet took time to learn as well. Skynet wasn't Skynet of the beginning. I don't know if you watched Terminator, Andre.
It's a learning CPU.
Little small film called T2. It took time for the supercomputer to like learn and get
the
there.
indie movie, right?
Didn't all of a sudden. Yeah, I think maybe some people heard of it. I don't know. There was a soundtrack involved, and a lot of things happened. But whatever. Indie picture by this unknown director, James Cameron. But we'll carry on. Cameroon. Fun fact: Andre's nickname, of course, back in his days, is Barbados Slim. So when he was doing the Limbo.
Barbados Slim.
That's Futurama joke. Thank you, John. Rob, carry on. What are your thoughts?
It's funny. I mean, I'm all over the place in this episode because I was really looking forward to these when this thing came out. And when the first couple episodes I was pretty hype on. And I feel like I'm on like the mind buster where I'm kind of going up and down on a lot of these. And I realized today I had to watch it for the show, and I was like, oh, okay. And instead of me looking forward to the episode coming out, this was work. And I think it's not indicative of this episode. It's more indicative of the series in its totality. And then I'm actually quite looking forward to next week being the final one. Because I'm not really getting anything out of it. At the beginning of this series, I said, wouldn't it be kind of neat if they're leaving us on these cliffhangers? I wonder if they're all going to make sense, all going to be pulled together. And now that they're actually doing that, to piggyback off what John said, I don't really want it. I think they should have just been one and done single episodes, anthology type series, like a Black Mirror. Show me something. Show me a what if in the vein of a Black Mirror, to just mind bending, trip you out, and that's it. They are so beholden to the MCU that I think it's to a fault. I think they believe it may help.
They did say
accessible.
that the show is. They did say the show is canon, so everything that happens here.
No, I
canon,
know. So I get it. I just listen. The one thing we can always agree on every week is that it looks pretty. right? It looks great.
Mhm.
I did think that the Watcher was starting to get a little bit on Brandon Routh Superman Returns territory, kind of been a bit creepy. It felt like Happy Gilmore when he was like, just get in the box. It's right there. It's in the box. Get the box. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Andre or maybe it was John said it, are we relying once again on Hawkeye and Black Widow? When one of the Ultron robots blew off Hawkeye's arm, I was like, whoa, they just Green Arrowed the dude. He's got one arm left. And I was like, oh no, for some reason he's got a robot arm. I don't understand.
That can just be plugged in like Lego.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
To be fair, that's the same thing how
As
Bucky's
Winter
arm
Soldier.
works too. So
Yeah.
Winter Soldier, you just poke it and then it falls off.
Yeah.
So Andre, we can't say anything because if you're Dharma Milage, just one pressure point and the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
So like it's canonical to everything else in the arm category of the Marvel universe. But again, I think they'll probably use it's unstable molecules, Andre. So
but the one thing I was like when I'm watching it, and I'm okay, evil Ultron with a really bad James Spader impression has destroyed everything. He's sitting on a rock with the remnants of a telephone pole or something like that. I don't know how that survived. And he's like, I have no purpose. And all of a sudden he's like, who is that? Who's speaking? And then Ultron decides to jump through different realities and starts fighting the Watcher. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is ridiculous.
That's a crossover I want to see.
The Watcher is easily going to defeat him because the Infinity Stones don't work once you're outside of the universe in which
technically that's not true based on the show. So
yeah, but
comics,
based on Loki, it was based on Loki. Remember, they had all the Infinity Stones.
So, but what people have said is that it's the TVA. They don't work in neutral zones of the universe. So the TVA and that neutral zone itself, but in every other universe it works.
So why couldn't someone walk around with a little neutral zone and put Thanos in the neutral zone?
Yeah, they should. That's what they did before,
these
right?
Gems of infinite power don't work in this bubble.
Yep. Yeah, because
Doctor
remember,
Strange
that's like
stopped
Superman
after that
can't
one
see
iteration,
through.
that's
They did mention that they have Titans, like Mad Titan. Like they're like, oh, like they basically, Owen Wilson said Thanos was in there. Like he was a pain in the ass to get, but Loki's are the worst. So like this is just like in Ghostbusters, Andre, a little zone where the ghost can't escape. I don't know how that makes sense either. That they made a prison that fits in the bottom of your fire escape that you can put ghosts in, and they have a special zone where the gems don't work. But the remnants of the gems operate based on the canon of the MCU. So even though the rings are gone, the energy still flows, but the stone itself that you can pull energy is gone. So they're allowing this as the loophole to bring back in the Infinity Stones, because they said in the thing you can't remake them. But if new stones come from a parallel universe, you'll be able to draw that energy again and use it. So that is what people are speculating and saying that's the way the Marvel's going to get around the fact that they lost Infinity Stones, is that they could bring new ones from a parallel world and it'll work again. Yeah,
that's dumb.
Hey,
it's almost as dumb as Superman's inability to see through lead. I mean, all you need is any apron from your dentist's office,
or Green Lantern can't go through yellow. Like why?
Right. So okay, fine, whatever. I thought that was kind of weird. The fight scene that was great. I was kind of impressed that we saw Captain Marvel return again. I thought she was going to give Vision Ultron a run for his money, but I don't know. I guess she was blown up. I didn't understand what happened to her.
Yeah, she was blown up. She did what John requested, to go full power, and that's what she did. She just punched him to the middle of the earth, and then tried to make his head explode with her hand. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I have all the Infinity Stones."
So essentially, the hero's plan really kind of relies on the processing power of a Commodore 64 to be able to win the day with Armin Zoloff. So
that's why when the Stranger's like, "I have one reality where this happened. Every single one we lose."
Yeah,
same thing.
So you know what? It is what it is. Listen, we'll see next week. It's going to be,
format C drive /
That's right.
Ultron
run
/ dash yes.
Yeah.
.exe.
Yeah, so we'll see how it all plays out next week. I'm not expecting anything. Like, I'm not looking to be impressed. I don't want it to, don't give me just finish it. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm kind of done with this, to be honest with you. I have other things going on.
Wow. Okay. What are you rating this, John, this week out of a score of 1 to 10?
I really liked it, but I'm a big fan of Ultron now, as you can see. So I would give it like 8 out of 10.
Andre?
I saw Doctor Strange in it.
Squid Strange,
your version,
and they played his music on the way out. So they played his.
So I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
Hey, going up, baby.
Going up.
Moving on up. Rob.
Yeah, it looks good. I'll give it a 6.
All right. Is there a comic or anything you recommend from an Ultron John comic or anything else that you recommend right now for the people to check out at home?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I could think of something in particular. I would probably go to, there was an Avengers book called, I think, Avengers Disassembled. I don't remember if Ultron played a part in that, but it was just a really good book to read where the Avengers were where the Avengers were getting just taken apart. So it was a cool book.
Getting
disassembled. It's been a while since I read it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Disassembled.
Andre?
Disassembled number 5.
If it's still in print, and I'm not sure if it is, but the actual Age of Ultron graphic novel was really good because it dealt with the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Ultron had basically won. And they had the heroes had to come up with this really intricate plan to have a chance to beat Ultron, and it did involve time travel and stuff like that. And there's some very good use of Sue Storm's powers and Wolverine's abilities and stuff like that. I think that was Bendis again. But yeah, very good story arc. But totally different than the movie. The movie just took the name, so it's nowhere similar. But yeah, it was a very good Ultron run.
To be fair, Andre, I think that's pretty much every film that just takes the name.
Winter Soldier was closest to
so far away at the same time. It was close, but so far away at the same time.
But closer than any of the other titles.
Yeah, but
right?
But to the point, it's like it was like 30% there, but I'm not going to give it credit for being 30% of the storyline because there's
is 30% better than 0
in an Asian household. All fails.
In a Caucasian. Yeah, keys in the car.
Higher, 96% higher.
Yeah. John, what's the Asian mark you're supposed to get from or your family would beat you? What was the number?
If it's math, you got to get like 98.
There you go.
And they'll ask you why you missed the 2%, right?
Yeah. There you go. Rob, do you have any fun Ultron books that you can recommend?
No, but I will tell people, if you prefer a better James Spader, check out Boston Legal. There you go.
Not the Blacklist.
Or I'm not disagreeing. James Spader is the best in that one. Or if you want even better James Spader, Stargate with Kurt Russell. There you go. Right. Lots of stuff there. We're gonna jump into something different for this last little bit of the pod. Talk about recommendations right now for TV. Rob has talked about how this is like Sam from Looney Tunes, where he's the sheepdog that clocks in. He's like, oh, it's or the animal from the Flintstones, where you look underneath it, it's the turtle, and Rob goes, it's a living. Like, so I want you
I'm doing
to
the dishes. It's a living.
My arms, it's a living. John, tell us what you like right now. What are you watching that you really enjoy? What's a recommendation that you know people will like, people will enjoy? Give us something. What are you watching right now? What do you like right now?
Well, I did jump onto Ted Lasso, but we were trying to pick things that we haven't already mentioned in this podcast. So I think Rob's going to talk about something he's watched the whole season of. So the last thing I've watched the whole season of was the new Netflix Masters of the Universe, which is not the Revelation one. It's a brand new one that's done in like an animated, almost kiddie style. It's very similar to Troll Hunters. If you guys have watched the Troll Hunters, the Guillermo del Toro project or whatever, which is very if you start going back to comics, it's very Hellboy like. So it's kind of like that. You can follow that trail back if you want. But it was a really good reimagining of the He-Man series or Masters of the Universe series, using a lot of the things that work in the kids' cartoons right now, which is making it appealing to the kids, also giving you enough meat in the story to keep adults entertained as well. So I would definitely watch that. I think it was like 8 episodes, and they're only like 20 minutes, and me and my kids like blew through them like crazy.
Got it. Who are the characters in this He-Man show that, because
The main character is actually He-Man. So if anyone's
who are
anyone's
the fun
gonna,
kids?
you know, to talk about Revelations, the He-Man is the main character, or I guess you would say Adam, not quite Prince Adam yet. And then he's got a whole bunch of his sidekicks running around. So we've got a reimagined version of Man at Arms. Ram Man has been switched up to a Ram Gal, and they have his faithful. I don't know if you'd call him just a giant cat or target. Krenger is there, and he's kind of been redone.
Wait, does Man at Arms have a mustache, or is he young so he doesn't have a mustache anymore?
No, he's a young child.
All right. Rob's just dying. Rob needed this in his hard day of work. Just the belly laughs. Andre, tell us what you watched recently. Tell us what you like.
Okay, so it's not a
Doesn't have to be a show.
new show.
That's fine.
But I recently, for the first time, just watched the first 2 seasons of The Legend of Korra out of the Avatar series, and I had heard how good it was, but I really loved Avatar, right? And I was like, there's no way this show can be as good as people have been saying and stuff. And I was just like, I put off watching it, and we sell a lot of the stuff at the store, and a lot of people are always talking Korra. We got the art books, we got the deluxe editions and stuff, and whatnot. So the first 2 seasons showed up on Netflix, so I watched those, and wow, I gotta say, yeah, it is really, really good. It doesn't necessarily have the same charm that Avatar has, but the stories are good, the character designs are amazing, the where the world is after was very good, and it made me intrigued to see, okay, how did it get there, right? So I'm really digging the story. I like the growth of the character. Korra herself feels genuine. She feels real. Like, she makes a lot of mistakes and stuff, and she learns from it, but she's got a fire because she feels that she's this, she's the Avatar, and she should be doing, right. She can do no wrong, but man, she's inexperienced, and she doesn't have, she's not very worldly. So I really like that. Like I said, it's got a very genuine, heartfelt vibe to it. The animation's cool. Just everything about it for the first 2 seasons. So I liked it so much. Netflix hasn't put the other series up, but I did order the Blu-ray box set so I can catch up on the other seasons.
I will be interested to see your thoughts on season 3 and 4, because like you, I love the first 2, and then I really fell into
really, it goes downhill. That's too bad.
It goes in a direction that you wouldn't anticipate to, and either you're with it or you're against it. But it's still a good show. Like, there's
I should cancel my box set order, is what you're telling me.
I'm just
No, you should decide for yourself.
You should have it.
But maybe I shouldn't own it. Maybe I should watch it before I own it.
Yeah, I would say watch it before you own it, Andre. But for me, I was left like, the last season really left me questioning a lot. I think there's some stuff that was amazing, like some of the concepts that happened, and then at the end, like, I was really like confused. So and the voice acting is incredible. Like, with no question, the voices, whether it's Aang's kid, who's played by J.K. Simmons, who's incredible, and then one of the, no spoiler alerts, but there's a really cool villain coming up, and his voice is amazing. So Rob would know him. He's part of this band that happened back in the day, and happens in a lot of last name Rollins, so doing a bunch of stuff. So he has a very particular voice. If you hear him and you're like, oh, that guy. So anyways, like you, I love Avatar, and then I rewatched it recently, the second season. I'm like, So yeah. Anyways, I'm just lowering your expectations. I think that's the right way to do
Tempering things. Okay.
Really lowering it, Andre. I'm making it the limbo pull that it's like so easy. Like, you know, the kid, you don't have to bend over to go underneath it. That's what I'm trying to do, Mr. Barbados Slim. Rob, what do you have for recommendation?
Oh boy. So listen, we are October, the beginning of October, and obviously the witching hour is upon us. And so what better way to kick it off than a really cool quasi like a horror story, something Halloweeny. And so Mike Flanagan, who has directed what I love, The Haunting of Hill House, kind of failed with The Haunting of Bly Manor, is back with Midnight Mass. Now, this is a 7-episode run on Netflix. It just dropped last weekend. If you're going in expecting Hill House scares, don't. It's not. It is not a reimagining. It's not the same type of jump scares that you got with Hill House. You have to know that going in. However, this is it's an amazing story. It is timely with the season that is upon us. But it's a very well written and conceived story with multiple layers, including the biggest thing is about religion. And I'm not a religious guy, but you know, the juxtaposition of religion and horror and everything else, I would highly recommend it. The actors, I mean, you know, he goes back into his well. He's got Henry Thomas, so otherwise known as Elliot from E.T. His wife is Katie Siegel. She's in it. Raul Cooley does a phenomenal job of being the only Muslim character. He's the sheriff of this small idyllic little town it's on an island. It's on a small little island in and amongst all these very I guess you could say maybe right-wing Christian type of individuals. It is something that you will enjoy. If you are a horror fan, you will like it. If you just want a smart TV show, they're about an hour each. It's 7 hours of your time. I highly recommend it. It's Midnight Mass. And the priest, the main guy, Hamish Linklater, is absolutely phenomenal in this role. So you definitely don't want to miss it. It's Midnight Mass on Netflix.
I think the guy from Friday Night Lights is the main character as well.
Zach Gilford. Yeah.
Oh, Matt Saracen. All right.
There we go, John. John knows. Yeah, he plays the character that's come back to the idyllic town who got into some like personal issues, and he's
battling his own demons.
Right? He's come back home from the mainland, dealing with the fact that he was in prison. He's been released. He's gone back home. He's seeing his mom. So there's a thing. It is, I watched it all. Rob and I were talking about it. It is a very nuanced horror film or horror series. And when it gets to the end, you're like, oh, wow, they're doing this. So it is, it's very, very, very well done. But
the payoff is just, but it's just so satisfying. Each episode is just so satisfying.
Yeah.
And that
So
payoff
it ends. It's not to be continued.
Nope,
next
that's
season.
it.
Oh, that's good.
No, and that's the nice thing about it. It's one story, very tightly told over 7 episodes. They didn't extend it to 10. You know, it's not a lot of bullshit.
No.
It's very tight.
This is what we wish Marvel TV shows would do. Just like, you know, you don't need 10 episodes. You could just cut it down to like 7. You just make everyone count. And that's definitely what this show does. It makes every episode count. Even that first episode when things go awry on the beach and you're like, oh boy, what's happening? So
is it produced by Netflix or Netflix bought it from somebody else?
No, it's produced. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just curious if maybe they've kind of figured it out, because like you said, even the Marvel Netflix shows were definitely way longer than they needed to be. But so maybe they will learn their lesson and go, let's make tight, well done 7-8 episode shows.
But I think that this is part and parcel of the show of Mike Flanagan, who wrote and directed every episode. Like, he's got a lot of goodwill with people in Hollywood. I mean, he did Dr. Sleep. Stephen King loves him for his shit. So if he's going out there saying this is only going to be 7 episodes, if Netflix maybe wanted more, he was like, no, it's at 7. The story is over and done in 7. So
quick thing to share with you guys. If you haven't seen the most popular show on Netflix, it is Squid Game. I don't know if anyone
I was gonna say, is this show gonna beat Squid Game?
Does anyone know the premise of Squid Game? Does anyone want to take a guess as what the premise of Squid Game is?
Well, yeah, my understanding is that it's kind of like a bit of a reality show, like a battle royale reality show in which people are doing like these Japanese game show type thing, right? You know, they're doing these kind of ridiculous stunts for a cash prize. However, if you don't succeed, you don't get to live another day. It's pretty much
that is
smell
correct.
you later.
It's a South Korean show where the Squid Games are basically child's games you would play, like hopscotch or whatever, all the games you'd play as little kids. And every character in the show has a reason to be there because they're in extreme debt. So you learn why they're all there to, you know, help their family pay off debt, or they have gambling debts, or whatever debt they're in. They're all there because they need to win the million won, which is the prize. I think the million won, or I think it works out to be like 17 million American or whatnot, and that's money change, life changing money. So the whole show is basically these characters trying to duke it out, playing kids games, and winner takes it all, and that is the show. So it is a very.
It's funny that this concept is kind of like me and Andre saw it drop in the manga form Battle Royale from Tokyo Pop, like I don't know how many years ago, and that thing was blazing hot. And I think it even had a movie adaptation or something. And then you see it again in Hunger Games, and then now a lot of things like I don't know if Alice in the Borderlands is similar, but I guess this show kind of just picks up the torch and keeps going with it. Is it an original property, Stu? Do you know if it's based off of anything?
No, I think it's
a Korean show, right?
Korean manga.
Is it based on the manga as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And I'm really glad that Stu made the differentiating point to saying it was a South Korean show, because I don't know if we would have watched if it was a North Korean show, Stu.
Well, there is a North Korean character who's in the show who's like,
okay,
who has debts he has to pay.
Stu, is it one season, one and done, or is you got to come back for next season?
I think they're coming back for another one. So it's just one of it, and of only, I think there's only 8 episodes this first season. So I've watched a little of it. It's been very good, so I have no complaints. But it's
bonkers. People are going crazy. Everyone that walks into the shop is like, "Hey, have you watched Squid Game yet?"
It is the most. It is the hotness. It is the hotness. So
my son wants to watch it. I'm like, I don't think so, bud. I don't know, man.
I think you can watch it to skim through yourself, Rob, to see if the violence is up. But you've let him watch everything of violence anyway. So I know I know you let your summer watch Fear Street, all 3. I'm like, at this point, if you let your kid watch Fear Street, this is nothing. So
all right.
Yeah,
but he wants to watch it with the English dub, and I prefer to watch it in his native language with subtitles. And he's like, no. So
he doesn't get to watch it. Then that's it.
Yeah.
That's
you
funny.
read or you don't get to watch it. That's the thing. So that's not my show, my recommendation. But I would say right now, my recommendation is that to go back and watch Cowboy Bebop. We all in our chat privately have made fun of this Netflix to Doom trailer that came out. And all of us on the internet, it's like,
it's okay,
fanfic, right? Like this is not real. This isn't the real cost. This is not it. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they spend some money, because right now,
have you started rewatching it, Stu? Does it hold up?
It holds up.
Oh yeah,
it holds up.
Yeah.
Everything's
it's
perfect.
Wicked.
It's 1998 at its finest. Like everything's perfect. They do like I've had the last couple days off of work, and then I've watched a lot of Cowboy Bebop, and after we talked about it, and everything holds up. Everything's bang on, perfect. It's one of the shows where, Rob, for you can actually watch it dubbed, and the dub is just as good as the subtitled. Like the English dubs are probably just, I would watch it either way. And some aspects I actually like the dub version, because no one makes it Spike Spiegel sound as good as Mr. Bloom. So cool and so calm. So I would say if you have a way to get Cowboy Bebop and watch it, especially on 4K, it is incredible. It holds up. Everything.
I believe the movie is on Netflix right now.
So the movie is on Netflix, but
maybe Funimation. If you subscribe to Funimation or one of the
movie is
you can pick up the Blu-ray set. It's not expensive.
Blu-rays,
I think it's a whole $35 or something. Definitely recommend that.
It is perfect from beginning to end in only 26 episodes. The movie takes place in between episode 22 and 23. But like that show does so many weird things, including the space sludge episode, where I would if Rob
I
had any
do
access,
remember that
I
one.
would make Rob watch that one. It's perfect. It's aliens in space, and it's tremendous just how they're trying to deal with it. These are this essentially, Rob, do you know the story of Cowboy Bebop at all?
No, I was just looking on iTunes. It's like, yeah, it's $55 for the whole series.
You can probably buy it on Blu-ray cheaper, but it is a story of Spice Beagle, and he's basically used to be a former member of the Triad who's trying to escape that life, and he's joined up with a disgraced police officer, and they go around space, basically be bounty hunters collecting. So it's like this cowboy westerny feel in space, and they go around collecting stuff. And the way that they set up that universe is how you would imagine it. When you walk through the streets, multicultural. It's not like everyone's wearing the same colored unitards and everyone's like the signs in like 50 languages pointing different directions. Like everyone's just doing nothing. Culture is still there, but we're all living in new space frontiers. And it's a super fun watch, and the music is incredible. So I do know there are a lot of kids who are maybe watching this podcast who haven't heard of it, because again, this show came out in 1998. And us four are old dudes, so we remember it. You know, whether you were in university or in high school, when it came out, and it was on Toonimation or all those shows, networks on what other shows it was on. It was on all the late night channels in the U.S. and the cartoon channels in Canada. But
I don't remember. We saw it on DVD release when they started doing DVD.
But if you have not had the chance,
big time.
It is my top favorite anime show, and it's only 26 episodes in and out, so it's perfect. You're not watching 900 episodes of One Piece like I'm slogging through, still watching all those episodes of One Piece, or Naruto. And
y'all are spoiled. You can get it all right now. We used to have to wait for DVDs. You get 2 episodes per disc, maybe months apart.
John, not even that. I would go down with our friend Chad to UFT. We would pay the ticket to go down, and then they would play episodes that people would download.
You're talking about early days of Anime North.
That UFT, VHS, and then they would rent out. They would rent out the screen, and then you'd go down and you'd be able to see like 5 hours of one episode of each show that they were able to download, and they did it once a month, and that's the way you're able to catch up.
I'm sure it was not legal what they were doing.
We all had VCRs.
Statute of limitations over. It doesn't matter.
We're downloading episodes of TV.
Shut them down.
It didn't matter. But yeah, I remember you had to buy your card, and it enabled you to go in to watch Internatia and like what is it? It was Gundam, Gundam Wing or what? Like each episode.
It was pretty questionable. They would put it on a projector.
Yes.
Playing off a VHS VCR.
Yes. Yep.
Projected onto a lecture screen.
Yep.
It was pretty shady.
Dude, back then we had no choice. We didn't have streaming. We didn't have Funimation. We don't have like Toonami, like all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all are spoiled. At your fingertips. You just activate it.
Yeah.
You just got to pony up the money.
This is where Rob talked about when he went to the cottage. He only had 3 movies he could watch over and over. It's like, which 3 do you want to watch? And they just kept on watching the same videos over and over because you had no choice.
It's like trying to watch Doctor Who and like going through the PBS station, and it was always during the stupid. They're trying to sell you a mug for like $80, and you have to sit there, and that lady with the blonde hair and the really bad bangs would try to convince you to call in to buy a mug for the station. You're like, oh my god, just show the stupid episode.
This is different times. Just before, or it would be way late at night before the channel kids would just turn off. It would actually they'd play the end of our day.
You see the flag,
it would just stop.
Color bars. So that would be it. You'd be like, what am I going to do now? And you're like, I'm going to go through my consumer distributing catalog and see what's new.
Networks just stopped, and then they just stopped broadcasting. This is the end of the broadcast day, and they stopped. And then they played the national anthem. And then if you got early enough in the morning, they played the national anthem, and then right immediately after that, Rocket Robin Hood, come on, baby.
That's
and
right.
then you were able to watch Rocket Robin Hood.
Imagine if Netflix shut off at 2 a.m. as some type of curfew, depending on your time zone. So literally,
it's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And when I said Rocket Robin Hood, I could see all the glints in your eyes. You're like, I remember that show. We're that old.
Hercules, Rocket Robin Hood, and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
yeah, those sort of things. All right,
use the same animation.
Same background, just being run back and
still,
forth.
yeah, they all
Same
went to
going back and
Dimension
forth.
5.
Yeah. Same. I think they just reversed the angles. They was going the other direction as well. So this is what it is. All right, John, Andre, where can they find you on the internet and in the desert of the real?
So Heroes World Online, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, what else? Twitter? I don't know. But yeah, you can find us online, any of those methods. You can message us. We've got a lot of new people stopping by the shop. So it's really cool to see y'all. If you're hopping on this for the first time, thank you for checking us out. And you can definitely message us via any of those means, or even you can go old school email. If you want to write a letter, you could write a letter. We'll take a letter. It'll take a lot longer for us to set everything up for you, but we'll do it for you. And then if you're listening on the Audio Heroes World podcast on the Spotify, iTunes, whatever service you use, please check us out. If you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating, and let your friends know, or who else you think might be interested. Thank you so much.
Andre?
Yeah, and the store is open. We are conveniently located at 8601 Warden Avenue. That is Warden and Highway 7. So lots of ample parking, lots of other things to do in the plaza. But of course, the main reason you're in that plaza is to come see us. And why you want to do that is because we get new stuff in all the time, from comic books every week to board games to miniature games, role-playing games, hobby supplies, you name it, we've got it, and new stuff in all the time. And also, you might want to come in and talk to John and myself and say, hey, we disagree with you on what you said about What If, Andre. That episode was great. It was better than a 3. Come in and talk to me about it. You'll get my opinions, or chat about anything that we've got in the store. We'll always be happy to recommend and point you in the right direction.
Rob?
Yeah, actually, before I tell you what's coming up on the Heroes World Sidekick Show, I will say this. If you are interested in Midnight Mass, I would highly recommend Gideon Falls. Volume 1 just came out. I believe you guys have it in the stores.
Yes, the nice brand new
deluxe
shiny
hardcover.
Yeah, the hardcover. There's a lot of parallels between that book and Gideon and the show. So I would definitely, it's one of my favorite comics that came out. So Gideon Falls, you can pick up at the store. On the Heroes World Sidekick Show on Monday, John and I are on the road to No Time to Die, although John may be ready to die at this point, because we are watching the 24th James Bond movie, Spectre.
No, it's actually called Piece of Shit. Is it not? Did you rewatch it yet?
Awful movie. Awful.
How do you mute both of their mics? Anyways, if you are in agreement with these two knuckleheads, or if you are a Bond head like myself and Stu, you can catch the movie. It is currently on Crave. And then join us Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. The YouTube is where most people do a lot of the chatting. A lot of our viewers love having conversations that oftentimes have nothing to do with what John and I are talking about. It really makes us wonder what the hell we're doing there. We're just moderating an old ICQ chat. So you are, it'd be definitely cool for you to come by. Check us out, 8 p.m. live Monday, the Heroes World Online on YouTube, and it's the Heroes World Sidekick Show. Spectre, James Bond.
Like always, if you can support the store in any means necessary, whether it is a small purchase, a large purchase, John and Andre or your local store will be eternally grateful. If you cannot and you live far away from us, if you can like, subscribe, comment, just help us share even the content that we're doing, it'd be most thankful as well. You can listen to, of course, John and Rob on Monday, as well as their show on Thursday. What did I miss? Andre has a book club. Andre, what are you guys doing for your upcoming book club?
So we're doing the Thrawn trilogy. We're on book 2, so another video should be up by Friday, if you guys are listening to this on Sunday. And also hope to get back on track for the Why the Last Man book 2 as well. So lots of things in the can, lots of exciting stuff coming.
Awesome. So as we discussed before, I have the inside track on episode 9 of What If. What's gonna happen, guys, is there's
Howard the Duck.
Sorry, no. Howard
the Duck. If Howard the Duck was a blockbuster movie? I would watch
Howard
that.
The Duck is missing. So they had to call him his best friend, Slapshot himself, to come in with his best friend.
Slapshot.
With his best friend, Night Thrasher. The two of them must gang together and just basically Beverly Hills Cop the situation.
They're gonna
and
fight
find-
Fool Killer and Sleepwalker.
That's whoa. That's the secret cameo. Sleepwalker is a secret cameo at the end of the episode that comes together. Rob, you don't even know who these characters are, do you?
I've heard Night Thrasher. I thought it was going to be a Spider-Ham episode. I'm a little bit disappointed too.
So that you gotta lead into episode season 2, man. You gotta leave people wanting more.
Fair enough.
You can't just have Spider-Ham show up. You need him and Frog Thor to throw up and be like, it's not you, Jerry. It's like it's your kids. It's your kids that's the problem. It's like, and then that's season 2 of What If.
How funny would it be if they don't continue the story
we don't
next
have enough
episode and it's some other random episode?
Yeah, like and
Yeah,
then
could you imagine?
it's
That would be awesome.
That would be so
We're
funny.
all sitting here waiting, and it's just something else. It's like, yeah.
I can't use Marty because that's probably copyrighted, but Jerry is gonna be what you don't know is Night Thrasher's name is Jerry. So then he's gonna be like, Jerry, it's your kids that's the problem. And then thus leads to What If season 2, Night Thrasher, Electric Boogaloo. So this is what's gonna happen.
Well, where we're going, we don't need any roads.
I last thing before we leave, I am super excited to for the next couple episodes of the Sidekick Show because I'm gonna continually throw movies that John hasn't seen and force him to watch it. So I have some movies up my sleeve, and it's gonna be great.
You come in on Skyfall, and like I told Rob, it's downhill either side you go. It's like just
No, I'm gonna. It took 3 hours from Rob and me to pick a movie when you were away, and now I have the movie set that the next time I have to come in and it's maybe just you and me, John, I'm gonna force you to watch this movie. It's gonna be grand.
All right.
I'm gonna tell Rob
We'll
what
see.
it is. He's gonna be jealous and he's gonna want to join us. So it's gonna be 3 of us anyways again. But there it is. Anyways, have fun, everyone. Be safe out there, and we'll see you all next week for the final episode, and maybe the final episode for us on this What If series. Probably never come back to it. So, anyways, thank you. See you
there
all.
won't be a season 2.
No, canceled.